Emyoga.
The parish development model and Emyoga are failures at start. The people who are even administering
we know people are receiving this money.
The Prime Minister's office, which is even handling the PDM, is the same that has stolen iron sheets. So you're giving can I say a thief in court that ntwa rembuzi yanjejo wananka kandi reba na nente na yonjija hato tuirembuzi nabara kutwara ente. So that's why we are saying of the Bakatera Masinde, Kakula Nkonya, the people on the grassroots. We are nation.
Thank you, Peter Mpaka. Let me bring in Honorable Bright Muhammad at this point. Bright, you just heard from your comrade. And for you, how is the interpretation, first of all, of the anticipation of this address? Because majority, I think, thought the president would go deep into the narrative and the idea of homosexuality that is going around. But in a very special move, he says, well, we shall wait for the medics to tell us whether the vice is either by nature or by nature. That's a gray area for him. He made a very gray pronouncement. It is as if to mean, if the medics come and say this is by nature, then whatever is happening with that homosexuality bill before the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee is a waste of time, and it's heading nowhere. After all, it can only become law when the president assents to the bill. Go for it.
Mr. Wanyaji.
Yes.
For those two lawyers at Makerere, at the level of a PhD, I saw them defending homosexuals before that parliamentary committee.
But hinge it to the statement of His Excellency the President.
Yes, but also those people who have families, who have children, I know them, I know Tamale, they are all married people, they have children, but they are saying that we should allow others to marry their fellow sex mates.
But Tamale is saying someone is born gay or born lesbian. Does it mean he has to be one of them to defend them? No, not necessarily.
I can tell you, Mr. Wanyaji, that those people needed to be stoned to death. Those two lawyers that appeared to defend homosexuals, they needed to be stoned to death.
We had about 2 weeks ago, we had Council Wenje Deus did it, who is a member of the National Unity Platform, defending the gay community and ready to provide pro bono to them.
That those that join National Unity Platform are all from Mars.
So you mean some of them?
We are all products of our society here. If there is a problem, there is a problem. We attack it as this. We don't attribute it to a political party. For example, Andrew Mwenda, who went to court to challenge that law, speaks is an official spokesperson for MK project. But I believe that Kwatanese is not a homo. But because the one who speaks for them supports homosexuality does not mean that the entire MK project is full of homosexuals. We cannot say that. Mr. Wanyaji and listeners, whether it is by nature, whether it is by nature, I can tell you that the Bible condemns it. God hates homosexuals.
And the legal scholars urged Ugandans to desist from the arguments of religion as a justification for nature or nature.
But now, apart from religion,
guide us.
I also it's me. I don't think we need to.
I was listening to the president very well and critically, and he first made a statement that in African culture, sex is private.
Yes.
Whether homosexual or heterosexual.
Yes.
That when you sleep with a person And unless you come out to say, I slept with so and so, nobody will know. And therefore, he said that we need deeply to think in it. Because you will have laws, you will have what, but then who will tell you that I slept with so and so? Not until I tell
But
you.
so
where will the law now work?
Mr.
So that's where he was saying, let the scientists first guide us.
Mr. Musa, what you don't know.
I think he's making a very good argument.
Yes, but you see where Mr. Musa is not being clear. The homosexuals sleep with fellow men or fellow ladies and record themselves and publish. You see, the problem is that for them they appear on TV and say that I slept with a fellow man. If you slept with a fellow man, how does it become a point to me? Why do you need to tell me? It is your business, it is your business. The problem is that for them they want to...
But do you need to legislate, to enact a law against that? No. After all, will it stop me from having consensual sex with a fellow man?
For I can tell you that, you know, in legislation, this legislation is capturing many things. Those that fund it, those that promote it, those that do it, practice it. There are those that don't do it but fund it. Maybe there are those that don't fund it but promote it. I saw some people, you know, there are many people who are promoting it, yet they are even not doing it.
Perhaps
they are married, they are married to
I want us to go back to the statements of His Excellency the President, because what we are talking about this morning is the State of the Nation address.
Now
on homosexuality was very clear.
On homosexuality,
he said, let's wait on the scientists to give us very good basis, whether it is by nature or nature. Leaving it very grey. And my question is, what do you think about the stance of the president?
I am telling you that whether it is by nature or nurture, because nature means that somebody has been badly nurtured, that he has adopted that vice. You were born, okay, but because of society, because of where you have lived, you are saying you have adopted that vice. That is nature. Then nature means you are born like that. And so far, I have no evidence. I have not read any book. I have not read any book saying that there are people who are born naturally born like that. I can tell you that vice is sponsored. That vice is funded. You sleep with a man, they give you millions of money.
But
and
I was
with a mission to promote evil.
With
a mission to promote satanic issues.
Yes. But your own party, we know the position of the NUP as far as homosexuality is concerned.
And I can tell you
when questions are placed to you speak Chinese, it's because of you lower cadres. David Louis Rubongoya and your party principle cannot be categorical about the stance of homosexuality. When you ask, they have been asked and they speak Chinese.
Let me give you information, Mr. Banyaji.
Yes.
Kyagulanyi Center, my president of National Platform, cannot be allowed in London, in UK, on one account that he sang a song condemning homosexuality. You know that. It is for the fact.
That was before you stood to be president of the NUP and receiving a lot of funding, quote unquote.
Kyagulanyi Center is the one who first condemned the what? Homosexuals. You remember when the law passed, the ones who went to court to challenge it have never supported NUP. Fox Odoi, who was a close friend and a personal lawyer to President Museveni, together with Andrew Mwenda, are the ones who went to court and challenged that law. Those ones have never been to NUP. So it is just a narrative created by NRM people. They want to now create a confusion. They say, you know, the NUP people support the homosexuality.
Are you calling it a mere political rhetoric?
It is a mere political propaganda intended to damage our political relationship with Ugandans.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Banyaji, on what Museveni said. For me, when I heard that President Museveni was going to address Parliament, you see, President Museveni has always talked. Every day he talks. He is opening a road, a borehole, you know. He talks. President Museveni has always given speeches. But when I heard that he was going to address Parliament, a den of robbers, I was a bit impressed. Before he addressed them, because I knew, I went home and put on my TV even against the will of my bosses, because the instruction was shut the talk, shut the talk. Don't listen to this president. But because me, I suspected that maybe he was going to censure these ministers, deceiving ministers. I kept my eyes on TV. I waited for him to read the names of the ministers he was dropping. He didn't read any name. Instead, I saw him hugging the Speaker of Parliament. I saw him, talking good with them. I said, now, this man, is he the same man who was saying that they should be handed over to police? Is he the same man? Because I saw him really hugging a suspect. He said police should investigate. These people should be handed over to police so that they are taken to court and prosecuted. But yesterday, the same suspects, I saw President Museveni hobnobbing with them, hugging with them, smiling with them, smiling, meaning that wind that had a lot of strength to take Mabati, iron sheets, from Kampala to Bunyoro. To Bunyoro, in the compound of a certain minister for finance. That wind could have taken very many things to Wachitura.
Oh, okay.
That wind could have.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
We are back.
Move to the rhythms of the radio station that reflects your lifestyle. Western Uganda's biggest radio, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends.
Ono ye sports bwino. Ono ye sports bwino. Omuli ebikulu bye weetaaga okumanya mu muzannyo gw'endiba buli ssaawa. Wano ku radio esinga okumanya eby'emizannyo.
Creative Digital Media.
Welcome back. It's about 91.2 Cruise FM. Good music, good friends. My name is. To be able to stream live on www.cruisefm.com/stream, and also the visuals are right there on Cruise TV. Go and be able to see us. It's very clean. And that's courtesy of Creative Digital Media. Now, those that are viewing by YouTube, I've gotten some of your messages coming through. And Musmenta Blaze, you're listening in. Thank you so much. That was in Musmenta Blaze. Now, Musmenta Samuel, you're saying, it will always be us Ugandans to suffer. I love Mpaka and Muhumuza. I'm NUP and I'm listening in from Chirhura. Kazo, Bruce Official. You're thanking us for the show, and you're listening in from Bunga in Kampala. Ainerhanga Aston, you're listening in from Bishop Stewart University in Kakoba. Thank you. And Alosias at Hide, you're live in Isinjiro, and you're saying I always love the submission of Mr. Bright Mahomes. I bet he has gotten that together. John asked Message, you're thanking us for the show, and you're saying it's you, Mr. Joe. You're there in Ivanda, and greetings to the people of Chihunga and a couple of people, Chitagwenda, and all of you gotten that message coming through. Thank you so much. We appreciate the love that is happening there. And please keep the messages coming on our social media handles, 912 Cruise FM on Twitter, and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. The question is already there, so we shall be able to get some of your feedback. But later on in the lifeline of the show, 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Sifa Safi, the misses of General Museveni on the State of the Nation address. We thought perhaps he will tell us how far it is with the safety of the workers' money in Parliament, in the NSSF. Looks like he worked differently and he didn't mention any of that. Was that surprising to you?
Thank you, Banyaji, and thank you, the listeners, once again. To begin with, we have to know that we are talking about the Fountain of Honor, the President of this country, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So we are not talking about just any ordinary person or Ugandan. So much as we anticipate and predict what he's going to say, and we expect him to talk about this and that, he has a program and he already has his speech, and he already has what he wants to talk about. So because the Ugandans are making noise about something in particular, for example the Anishits this time round, does not necessarily mean that that's what the president is supposed to talk about. And much as some people are thinking that this is a pressing issue right now as we speak in the country, others think it's not. And Banyaji, you have different tastes and preferences, and likewise we have different challenges and problems. So while we are thinking that Karamoja iron sheets are the issue and whatever, he thinks for him the general issue, the bigger picture right now as we speak is the PDM. Simply because it's not something...
This, sorry for coming in. Just I hate this rhetoric by Sifa Safi, a very excellent NRM extremist.
What do you mean by that? Excuse
how
me.
Do you say?
Use the word extremist in the right way.
How do you say?
You don't have to pay
how
words.
Do you say? How do you say?
Please.
How do you stand on national radio and say that stealing iron sheets for vulnerable people who were dying of hunger is not a concern to anyone? And imagine. Even the president.
Did I even say that
the
at any
president,
point? The problem, you jump into things.
That's
your problem.
How do you even mention
I've told you that some of these NUP people are overambitious. And any overambitious person can never sleep. That is the problem. And naturally a person is supposed to sleep. So when you pile a lot of things on your head, Peter, you're not going to get sleep, which is dangerous to your health. I was that...
It's not like me. Peter is born again.
Meaning?
He doesn't even take...
It's not about taking some... No, it's not about sodas. You might pile a lot of things. Politics, education, whatever, and all that. So I was just... You're just trying to preempt my words. Excuse me, Banyaji. Let's take time. One step at a time. I have not said...
But get that information in good spirit.
Is that information?
He's saying...
And you call that information for sure?
Yes, for sure.
Because
he's saying, why are you downplaying the theft in the OPM for the vulnerable people of Karamoja?
Kwa Kiswahili tunasema haraka haraka ina baraka. Let's take things slow. I was starting my point. I hadn't concluded.
You have the flow.
Exactly. What I was saying is, it is very by your Peter, I'm one of those people. Ndio momba ntaba kurechenga chamani kujangwa bantu bakibama batga Karamoja. I'm one of those people who are very touched, and I'm but I did not say that it's not an issue. What I was saying, there is one thing, and it's one thing for something to be an issue, and it's another for something to be a national issue, you see. So for me, I was saying that while it is an issue for people to steal Karamoja iron sheets, it is more of an issue for people to fight poverty in the country generally. And for him, he thinks it is through PDM that he's going to fight this poverty. And for me, I'm saying, right now he has directed the police to investigate, probe into this. So let's wait and see what is going to come out of there. Because that is quite dangerous for us to think about that. Children are in school. They talked of free education. Some of us are not seeing that free education. And for him, at least Banyaji, he said something about free education, and he said it is through education that you're going to fight poverty. So for me, the focus should be on free education rather than, talking about it, and it's not practical like I've always said. But if you talk of iron sheets, why were you expecting him to talk about iron sheets? Already he has given his stand, and he has...
We are expecting him to
Banyaji, it's different. Even in a home, Mr. Mpaka Peter, even in a home, you are a pastor, I'm told. Well, when there is a friction between a man and a woman, misunderstanding and all that, you don't simply wake up one day and you say that you have to go. I no longer like you. You have to go to court, through courts of law. If it is religion, you have to go through churches and counselors and whatever. So you take things systematically. This is a government. It's not even in homes. I'm just giving you an example. Even in a school, a child makes a mistake, you have to call a meeting as staff and you see what to do. Suspension or expulsion. So for me, what I'm saying, much as people expected him to talk about the iron sheets, let's wait and see what the investigations will give us. They will lead too, as investigations by police. But what I'm sure of, it's quite a very hard task that the president gave to police. It's not very easy, Banyaji. Sinko kugambira ngo jero investigate or you know lyo mpaka saa charo bakakuja ngoze ku investigatinga over minister over, it's quite hard. So these people have been given quite a hard task for me, if you asked me. Konka bakabishomera, it's their role, it's their job, it's their profession. I'm sure they will come out with results. But for me, what I liked most is the issue of Mr. Bright was talking about homosexuality. I'm happy that the president mentioned something about it. Much as you're saying that he said that he's waiting for a medical statement and whatever, we don't need all that nonsense. That is time wastage, Vanya. We have a lot of burning issues in this country. I just gave you an example of free education. Children are not paid. There is no free education if you asked me anywhere, especially in primary and secondary
but
school.
I think Sifa Safi,
Yes.
you're being unjust.
To who?
You're saying
I'm being unjust to who?
to the listener,
Uh-huh.
to the unpackers, perhaps. You're saying the most pressing need of Ugandans is not what is happening in Karamoja. But to you, homosexuality and rebuking it and jailing people, adults that are having consensual sex, is something that
I did not. I want to.
should have prevented
I
yesterday.
want to be on record.
Mr. Banyaji.
I have. Let me first say this, Mr. Musa, before you come in. I haven't said that the issue of Karamoja Anshits is not an issue in this country. But what I'm saying is the country is not going to come to a halt because of the Anshits in this country. So what I'm saying,
But should
it is so much.
should it come to a halt because of homosexuality?
Not necessarily. But he mentioned, he talked about it, for example, and he stopped it there. And for example, if you are listening to the president, he did not give this issue a lot of time, did he? And that is why he said he's waiting for a report from the medics. In other words, he was summarizing it.
But there are issues that he entirely didn't even give a second. At least homosexuality, he talked about it.
Like?
NSSF, nothing.
But you did not expect the president to address each and everything in this particular
Okay,
place.
thank you.
But let me conclude, Banyaji.
Allow me to say something small.
Yes.
I have said it from the beginning that as a president, you must have a work plan, you must have a program, you must follow certain lines. So the president, under the constitutional mandate, made a tour to West Nile. When he made the tour, he realized that there was a lot of mess in the parish development model. When he came back, he made a call to the Right Honorable Speaker, and in agreement they agreed to call Parliament, addresses Parliament, so that our honorables come back to the constituencies and address
What
voters.
was new that
So
the president
now,
was talking about the PDM? What was new?
what was new? First, he said that each parish first received 17 millions. But the 17 millions, there was a mess. And he said the honorables must go back to their constituencies and address and tell the parishes that the 17 millions were released and it should be accounted for. Secondly, he realized that the people from the parishes are being called to sub-counties for meetings, and yet it should be at parishes. So such pertinent issues needed to be
I
addressed.
want to inquire something small, Mr. Tukwatani Samusa. You saying that the president is informing members of parliament that 17 million was released to every parish
Yes.
in a situation where MPs are not aware that some money has been released to their parishes or to the parishes. Yet they are the ones who pass the budget. They are the ones who control all these accountability committees. They are the ones who appropriated this money. And you know, and some ministers, for example, in this case, a minister for finance is a member of parliament. Now you want me to believe you that it must be the president to come and speak to parliament and tell them that the money was released. The money was released, yes. I knew that the money was released. Even you, Musa Tukwatanise, was aware. You knew that the money was released, even when you're not a member of parliament. Everybody, every councillor now knew that the money was released. So it was not important for the president to address the whole parliament on issues that are public, that are publicly known.
Okay. Let's meet in the second hour. Good morning.
It's tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
amazina ninye DJ Kapale nkabankolobwa DJ ahambaga honka kokati ninkolesa MTN ninyongera aha kumanya ninyenda kongera aha rurengo rundi
sample that hati ninkolo obwa DJ aha mikolo nyamwenjo mu Uganda okuhinjira obubaga bwa office meeting za office
Creative Digital Media. Creative Digital Media. Creative Digital Media. Creative Digital Media.
Friends, welcome back, and thank you so much for not touching the dial. My name is Wesley Gebanyaji, the Big City Zone. Thank you for those that are streaming live on Cruise TV, and we're seeing the messages coming through. Let me get some of your messages right now, and I have Rogers Advarema, who is taking us for the show, and you're watching in from China. Thank you so much love coming in. And I have Tuebaze Benson, and you're streaming in from GBK Plaza here at Magansing Street. Thank you. DJ Jobs 256, you're saying about the statement, the NRM extremist was really not necessary. Ainamani Matthew, you're watching from Ruharo. Thank you. My good friend that I met in Kampala yesterday, Oyesije Horace, you're listening in and you're saying you're watching in from Kampala and thank you for the show. Blessings there. And then Charles Ndianawe, you're streaming again from Mogadishu. Amazing. And you're saying, Mr. Banyaju, we can't fold the iron sheets issue for the sake of the thieves when actually people are suffering down there. Thank you. To Yabe Praise, you're thanking us for the show and you're watching from Saudi Arabia right there. And you're saying, so what I don't know is that the president finds out that the homosexuality is by nature. Will he give a chance for it to take place? That's between you and I to be able to prove some of that. Now, to the lifeline of the show right now on 752-912-912-178-0912-910. Colin, we are talking about the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. Let's get your feedback right now on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Hello.
Yes, good morning, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Do you know the Shaggy in Kazu?
Shaggy?
In Kazu.
Oh, okay. Yes, Shaggy in Kazu.
But what I expected from Museveni was different.
What did you expect?
Yeah, I expected it to talk about corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And the other ministers who said that the Mawatu was in compound.
Okay. Thank you for that call. 752-912-912-178-0912-910. Those are the numbers to call. Be able to join the conversation right here. The big set.
Good morning, Mr. Wanyama.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
You are speaking to me, Mwebesa Rogers,
Yes, Mwebesa Rogers.
representing Bugamba Rwampara Live here at City College, Kapitembara.
Clear.
Now to the point,
Mm.
I want to first thank the panelists today and the studio presented by Mr. Bright.
Okay.
Now to the issue, I think the president would have got to the point that was about to talk about, because the main issue was corruption, homosexuality, and that thing that he was annoying the Ugandan government was talking about the ministers stealing the iron sheet. I think that was the main part that we would have talked about. I remain Mwebesa Rogers.
Thank you so much, Mwebesa Rogers. We just had a small earthquake here and things went berserk, but we are not in Turkey. We're thankful to God. The big set.
The big seat.
Yes, please. Good morning.
Nabira kutereza abanyaji.
Kale bambi bari kusimu.
Dr. Andrew Nabar Chizibanda. So nyoni ndaga ngu president na stades nakani yabe na hereza. Ndeba ngono kusiso gwabanya Uganda tube twine byo gukora. Umuntu umunyaganda na expecting ya kugira ngo nazagamba ibintu by'amabate ebyo arikwereza ensonga ya muheru kugira ngo minister yakwasira hibateryo oba MP oba noha amusarame cha muheru tinkure naza kweterura amanyanga police mane ko investigation is eyachi ba suspect sin babareba police kine kiyakozireho bakujangu ne kwato omuntu ngune suspect emuteko mukaduku enjiro kuchondoze kunkaba kwasirwa. So bariki kutuma banankani bafulinga abanya-Uganda twina amagazini twetegereza. So ninde bangu atisire no wiregwe we bari no kutereza.
Ye bari bambe. The big city is on. Call me up right now on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. On Facebook, on what you think the president should have talked about in the State of the Nation address. Agaba Wensi Metnich, you're saying Agaba Wensi, you're tuning in from Koranoria, and you're saying, sincerely speaking, the nation wanted to hear him say something about the iron sheets. But he was silent about it. Maybe it's because of the victims are his mafias, his brothers. We don't know. But the way his speech is made was unvaluable. Samantha Samuel, we see you here, and you're saying, how can you come? Everyone is expecting you to talk about Mabati and you talk about PDM. It was not okay, and you were very annoyed. Mahad bin Ramadan, you're saying you thank guests for the show and you're listening again from Kabade. Thank you so much, Mahad. The man mistalk about corruption of top leaders. All of the greetings to the people of Kazo. Thank you. Nabasa Judy, the lady, thank you for listening again. And you're saying His Excellency missed to brief us about the iron sheets that were grabbed by wicked officials. Kamenyo Richard, you're saying he was supposed to talk about Mabati, but in his speech he pretended as if his ministers were innocent and thinking that Kamarjongs are happy. Mose Cox, are you saying he did not clearly talk about the issue of iron sheets that made rounds in Uganda? I want him to come with a directive or immediate action. You're listening again from Andrews Kachika. Gaddafi, you're saying, I thought the iron sheet saga would be his greeting, but it was totally surprising when he didn't even tackle it anywhere in his speech, but rather shouted at homosexuality, of which was not even a problem here in Uganda. It seems himself is backing his thieves and anyone who thought that time for him to show us his true colors as a president, but instead didn't show he's on the spot. And thank you. And then perhaps Greenwood Shaggy, you're listening again from Kazo, and you're saying PDM better than corruption. I think Mr. Museveni and his son are the big threats of this country, because you can't talk about what people didn't expect of you. I think his presence was not important. Let me end with Mbaba ZD, who is saying President was right not to talk about such things in public when they're being handled in the disciplinary committee. Then finally, Asmani Di Fabio, you're listening in from Kabedebede, and you're saying all people wanted to hear about the iron sheets and what to do with these ministers, because, well, everything rotates around the iron sheets. I think your message has been gotten. Let me come back to studio. Sifa, conclude on your matter.
Thank you, Wanyaji. I want to tell Ugandans, and especially the listeners, that, like I said, the issue of Karamoja iron sheets is very important, not only to Karamoja but the country at large. But for me, I want to tell my friends like Peter and others who think alike that let's not narrow it down to iron sheets. The bigger picture for me is corruption. We have a lot of corruption in this country. We have so many thieves in this government. Like I've always said, that I will always tell you that President Museveni is a good man and he wishes good for Ugandans, but he has a lot of thieves, so many thieves around him, and that is why some of the things...
who appoints them.
Wait. And that is why some of these things are not taking up. That's why some things are being drilled. So for me, much as we are talking about this and that, but considering the interest people have in this issue of the Mabati, Karamoja iron sheets, I just request and I beg, and I know that action is going to be taken. Because like we are saying, everybody's focusing on this. You had people saying they expected the issue of Mabati to be talked about and all that, meaning that people are focusing on that to see what is going to happen. So please, let's wait. But we all know that President Museveni is unpredictable. We cannot tell, and we don't know what may come after this as a result of this iron sheet saga. So let's wait and see. But for me, the prayer is that action be taken. People are stealing from left and right. For example, imagine stealing from, because after the 26 elections, and after the mobilization of people in Karamoja, after people had been disarmed there was a lot of mobilization for children to go back to school, and the numbers of people going to school has the numbers have gone up. So we expected that schools are going to be built there. Instead, people are stealing gun sheets and diverting them. We are all touched and we are all bitter about it. So I expect that something will be taken, especially to be a deterrent to these people who are going to steal also from other vulnerable groups. But what I want to say is, it's not going to be the issue on Independence Day, Liberation Day, whatever day, that they're going to talk about iron sheets. You invite President Museveni to commission a building somewhere, he's talking about iron sheets. So what I'm saying, there is time for everything, Banyaji. Wazaro mana yafa, tokwarach too. So what we are saying, like I said, let's see action being taken, but we should see other things going on as well. But for me, the issue of PDM, Banyaji, of course the president is talking about, is cautioning people not to steal PDM money. But what a lot has been stolen already. And I'm calling upon Ugandans, do other things meanwhile. Don't just rely and focus on PDM money, you might be disappointed.
Thank you. Yes.
There is something Madam Sifa has not understood with us. Because...
But for Sifa to tell Ugandans that they shouldn't look out for the PDM because she thinks it's a waste.
Yet she says...
not say that they shouldn't look at PDM, but I said they shouldn't put all their focus on. That is English.
Okay.
So the good thing is that she has confessed that the government she supports is a thieving government. And she has also told
Brian,
us
thank you for
that
that.
President
But let me make a
Museveni
distinction,
is surrounded
Vanyaji.
by thieves.
There is a difference between government and individuals, and I want to make it. I want this to be on
Yes,
record. For me, it's
You
not
tell me the
government in
difference,
general,
because-
but I love individuals. For example, President Museveni stands out. I've always said that. Likewise, there are so many other people I like in the opposition, and I wish
Now,
they could join the government to work for
President
this country.
President Museveni stands out, but the one who stands out appoints thieving Ugandans, appoints thieves. I told you before, Madam Sifa, I told you before that in China, when you caught stealing, you are murdered, you are killed. In Germany, you kill yourself. In London, they jail you. In Uganda, they promote you. Somebody presents himself for an election because he will be given a front bench in the churches. He will be welcomed and clapped and given all the warm things by people like Sifa, and even the government officials. The president appoints them for better opportunities. I can tell you, in Uganda, if you don't want to steal, you cannot work with Museveni. There is evidence. There are ministers who were censured before, and now President Museveni reappointed them again in the cabinet. There is Alice Kaboyo, there is Jim Mwezi. There are many of them who were caught.
She even confessed
No, she was even sentenced. She even she was taken to Ruzira for stealing.
But President Museveni
now, she is still a minister. She was appointed by the same
President Museveni has always
saying that he stands out. Secondly,
but the president has always said that some of these cadres simply need rehabilitation, and he has been able to rehabilitate some of them and reappoint them too.
You cannot test poison by eating it. If you want to rehabilitate a person, you cannot rehabilitate them by giving them more Jewish ministries. You cannot now, because that means you are testing poison by eating it. If you want to rehabilitate them, take them to rehabilitation centers, not the Jewish ministries.
Okay.
Mr. Banyaji, one more thing.
Yes.
Because our argument is we have always said that PDM is not something big that can improve Uganda's economy. Because PDM, I can tell you, it wasn't our initiative. It wasn't the MP's initiative. It wasn't the people's initiative. It came from somewhere.
But how do you expect government to solve this menace of poverty? How is government able? How is it going to be able to eradicate poverty without helping the people?
The role of government is to look at 4 key areas. 1, to make sure that our parents, our citizens access cheap and quality education, so that the money we make, we pay fees, yes, but fees at a level where we can afford, and we even have some savings. That's 1. 2, equip our health facilities with enough medical supplies, so that treating a person doesn't become so expensive that all my savings, all my earnings are spent on a small illness of a child. Thirdly, look at tax policy, investment policy, electricity, so that our electricity bills are smaller to attract foreign funding.
Okay,
so
thank
that
you.
Our industries are established, our people from university are given opportunities to work in those industries.
Well understood.
And the tax policy also should be attractive, progressive, to give a taxi, to put a taxi on somebody who is earning, who is making a killing on a business, not taxing projects that that are innovative in kind. Because if you say add value to Matoke, somebody starts making wine. In a day, tomorrow you put a tax on him. 22,700 per liter of wine locally made from Matoke. And
thank you, Brian.
Tomorrow, the same president appears on radio saying,
I think your point has been gotten.
I am encouraging value addition. So, Mr. Banyaji, it wasn't proper for the president to put our money into parish development model. It is not a role of a state to distribute money to Ugandans. Instead, It is a role of Ugandans to give government money
Okay,
through
thank you.
taxes
Thank
so
you,
that
thank
they
you.
can give us services.
Thank you.
This guidance, Mr. Banyaji. Governments worldwide on statistics work in collaboration and on benchmarking. I will use an example of cruise. If you want to improve your services, you can benchmark on the best radio in Uganda. Like you go to Capital FM. You look at how it runs its activities, how it has been able to capture the whole nation, and you come and implement it here. So government as government does not work in isolation. It has experts whom it sends to other different countries that are already somewhere and we admire. For example, China, for example, America, for example, where. And when those experts go there, they must take keen interest in investigating how you as Chinese have been able to develop. And in that case, they are always guided. And that's why you will see government bringing the parish development model. The parish development model, when you look at it, was implemented in North Korea.
But General Saleh came out and he said he's actually the mother of this idea of parish development model.
Mr.
It is very clear and it's on record that General Saleh initiated this program.
Model is Kapeka. The origin of parish development model is Kapeka.
Now,
and that's why we even have Rugobi. Is it Rugobi?
Ramadan Gobi.
The permanent secretary. Assistant of
I can tell you, Mr. Banyaji.
I'm coming.
I can tell you, Mr. Banyaji, that even if you go and research now, you can see countries that have embraced parish development model before Uganda, and they have developed. And it is why government is even putting money.
Even here, our neighbors in Kenya have a similar
development
program.
model is there. Only that now the focus should be what the president did last week, ensuring that he makes sure the money that is put there is put into right use.
But it was Musa. Do you know of any group or individual who has received this money at your parish?
What I'm sure of is that the money has come. No, let me tell you.
I know Champs very well. You tell me anybody that
By something.
Yes.
Mr. Bright said that there is no country that has developed its people financially through giving it money. But I want to tell the listeners that it's not just about distributing money. There are so many other things under PDM. For example, marketing. If you have your things to produce and you're lacking market, value addition and other things. So for me, let's not tell them that it's just about money. I just don't like it because I have some reservations about it personally, but it doesn't mean that people should not go for it. Because if they are organized and they have whatever they can. But for me, the reservations are quite many. First of all, some of these groups, the way they were formed, Banyaji, is questionable. And secondly, some of these people, the way they were, not sensitized and made ready for this program is also another challenge. But for me, the good thing, like I said, the president is coming out to talk about it. Only that some people are not ready. And Mr. Bright said that why should the president tell MPs that money has been released? Some of them are not even aware, and even those who are aware are not interested, because what are they lacking? They have school fees, they have fuel, they have cars and all that. So omuntu wa hansi MP takumufa wechiki yao. There are very few MPs in that parliament that really think about the people that elected them. So the president told them that they should give their electorates a lot of time, enough time. Mufuno wiri me MPs now, and that's when you know what their problems are.
Right.
Otherwise,
Banyaji, the point here, he said that the MPs spoiled the politics of Uganda, whereby whenever they invite electorates, they invite them for handouts, and when you call them to sensitize them about
is there a person who goes to State House and does not come up with a brown envelope?
No, from here to State House requires transport.
Tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2.
Creative Digital Media
station. 91.2 Cruise FM, great music, great friends. My name is Wesi Gibanyaji. Feel free, very well clearly, on YouTube, Cruise TV. We are live. And all this is courtesy of Creative Dictum Media, doing a very fantastic job. I have two gentlemen here doing the magic right there. And special shout outs to every person that is streaming in on YouTube. I hope you're enjoying the good, clear picture right there. Alan Mohandi Chi is saying the Karamoja iron sheets shouldn't be the issue. But the problem is that the PDM money is also passing through the same thieves. So it's better to first deal with them. Sifa olimba nyo nawe. And that's a message right there. And our guy Michael is listening again. And for those that want to advertise with us for the best rates, call our guy Michael on 782-86-1727. Once again, call our guy Michael for the best rates on 782-86-1727. And you'll be able to get some of that very easy like that. Now I have a message from Day to Day Supermarket. Well, hey yo, sure. I have a message from Day to Day Supermarket in Chizungu who is saying, looking for one-stop shopping center in Bara. No looking any further. Day to Day Supermarket Chizungu branch. Our newly stocked inventory includes furniture for your home office, furniture appliances, kitchen appliances, cutlery, groceries, and household items. Our day-to-day supermarket in Chizungu, we understand the convenience is key. That's why our Kizungu location is open until midnight on Fridays and Saturdays, so you can shop at your own pace. And if you're in the mood of something sweet, we have a bakery on site for all your cake needs. But that's not all. Our new location boasts more space for shopping and even more parking options. So whether you're looking for a quick grocery run or a day of leisurely shopping, day-to-day supermarket in Chizungu has got you covered. Visit today at our new location and see why day-to-day is the ultimate shopping destination in Bara. Hope you've gotten that message very correctly. Day-to-day supermarket is calling on you to go and do very good shopping at conveniency at Day-to-day supermarket in Chizungu, a new location right there. I think around the roundabout in Chizungu, you can be able to get some of that. Another message from Star Times who is saying Miss Uganda is here and Makula TV will broadcast the Miss Uganda 2023 Grand Finale live from Lugogo Uma Hall this Saturday at 8 p.m., which is today. And don't miss the crowning of the next Miss Uganda. Makula TV is available only on Star Times Decoder or Star Times on mobile app. And all this is powered by Star Times. And that's it. Message from Star Times and Day-to-Day Supermarket in Chizungu. And let me get the feedback from Twitter. And I have a couple of people that have given us some good feedback. At Cruise FM right there. And at Banyaji, you can be able to follow me on my personal handle. And Nkuta Michael, you're showing me a video of a toddler in class and it's raining and they have to learn in such a very horrible environment. That's Kunta Michael, who is our guy Michael there and giving us good feedback. Matayo Kagabi, who is saying when the president said with these few words, some people in the front bench started breathing normally for their very first time the whole afternoon. Enganzi, Deogracious, you're listening again from Kasenge in Bara. Victor Jr. is saying, I never know that in Uganda we have such wind that takes such things. Other things may be taken like Mabati. And you're listening again from Mubende. I want to appreciate you. Ian Martinelli Humphrey, you're listening again from Kakova. And MK Icons, you're saying, I wonder why President Museveni didn't say anything on Thursday about Mabati saga, because we need to see all these guys returning anches like the speaker did. Did he find out why MPs from the opposition boycotted? You're listening again from Kakoba. Rishabh Mashal, you're saying President Museveni not talking about ministers who stole iron sheets recently is a shame to government. Y'all that are listening in, we want to thank you so much for the feedback. But in a very sad note, the LC5 chairperson for Hoima District, Kadir Chirunji, and his bodyguards lost their lives in a motor accident at Katera on the Hoima Kampala Highway. Very sad especially to the people of Hoima for losing the chairperson LC5, Kadir Chirunji, there with his bodyguard in a road accident. Very sad. And yesterday I was from Kampala. We almost rammed into a very fast running truck. We are here by God's grace, and it's a pure miracle. We appreciate it for the feedback. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. I'm going to give you an opportunity to perhaps say what you want. Let's get the feedback. The big set.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Banyaji.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Alex Official, calling in from Kakova.
Yes, Alex Official.
First, we want to thank the panelists and to talk about the issues of the national address. I think the president of Uganda is someone who is very economic in that sense. When you expect things to be talked about, that's when it just, gives a blind eye. When it comes, because this timing, we thought he would talk about these things of corruption and these scandals that are, ongoing in the country. But it is something that is, that made us, it left us in a shock, because nothing was touched concerning what is happening in the country. So it left us really completely confused. And I don't know if we keep on in this saga of, this one happens and it's not talked about, the other one happens, and,
All right.
Saga, I don't know.
Thank you so much. And we appreciate the comment right there. And we'll be back.
It's a 10:30 a.m. Your local time check.
Ono ye sports bwino. Ono ye sports bwino. Omuli ebikulu bye weetaaga okumanya mu muzannyo gw'endiba buli ssaawa. Wano ku radio esinga okumanya ebyemizannyo. 91.2.
Creative Digital Media.
Appreciate you for the feedback on all our social media handles. 912 Cruise FM on Twitter. The messages have been coming in real good. And those that are streaming in on YouTube at Cruise TV, we want to say a very special thank you. If you're listening in online on cruisefm.com/stream from wherever you are, special shout outs to you. My name is Wesige Banyaji, and the conversation this morning is on the State of the Nation address that happened before Parliament on Thursday, where the President majorly centered his address on the parish development model. To discuss this and much more is Sifa Safi, who is a regular panelist here on the Big Set, Bright Muhomuza, member of the National Unity Platform, and Peter Mpaka belongs to the same party, and Mr. Musa Kwatanese, who belongs to the National Resistance Movement but professes Muhoozi projects and the ideology. Yes, Sifa.
Yes, thank you, Banyaji. But
Yes.
Allow me, first of all, I didn't thank the MP, the Member of Parliament for Bokoto. Is it South or East? Mr. Kagabo. He did quite, this is something that is tremendous and outstanding, because he knows what took him to Parliament. Unlike some of these guys who went to just harvest money and all that. So like he said, actually he said that opposition is no longer, he cannot trust it anymore. And that is why he's going to focus on representing his ever wrong.
But
So
that's,
for me,
but that's English.
Mhm. And like Mr. Opono,
People that identify with you but not to us. So it's still the
us
same.
meaning who?
The opposition.
That's a problem. But I'm telling you that some of these opposition figures came out immediately and started analyzing and criticizing the president's speech. So where did they get the information from?
All
So
right.
that is quite contradictory. So for me, Banyaji, let me complete, Mr. Bright. So for me, Banyaji, no, I'm not attacking opposition. Actually, I came purposely to thank the MP member, the member. Okay,
Let me
fine.
give you some money for
You're
it.
fine.
Now, the mission for rejecting the invitation by the president was intended to show him and the entire world that we no longer want to associate with evil. We no longer want to associate with thieves. I am telling you that parliament is headed by a suspect. The government of Uganda is headed by a suspect, Nabanja, the leader of government business. We are saying if people see us associating with them, they will think that we are one of them. We are one of them. So for us, it was a protest. It was a demonstration. You see, a demonstration, it is meant to serve quick.
Okay.
I mean, it is a demonstration. It's a protest. You cannot say that we shall sustain it. We shall stay away from parliament forever. No, that was a protest intended to tell President Museveni and the entire world that his government is rotten government. It is full of thieves. Unless he chases some of them, we shall come back to
Peter Mpaka. We've
to
heard the feedback from the people and the anticipation for the presidential speech. They basically wanted him to tackle what they think was eminent. Matters of NSSF, matters the iron sheet scandal. The president didn't even talk about any of that. But I think for me, what to take home is the president perhaps is letting the due process take on. Why would I come by sub judice and talk about something that is even under the investigation of the police or the IGG or whatever it is as the president? Perhaps I would bias it. He is allowing the institutions that are mandated to do all this investigation to perhaps do what they are supposed to do and report to him or report back to Parliament and the entire nation of Uganda.
But West J, you know that a committee of parliament was instituted headed by Mwine Mpaka, the MP of Mbara City South, and they investigated and made reports and recommendations, some which were touching the line minister in charge of NSSF. And you know, that's what people were expecting, to say something about that. So, like, I think even Sifa said it, it's simply a waste of time. You said it. You said that ninko kugambira you said even the they are bosses. So for me, I think Sifa, without distracting me, I want to thank the core. I as an opposition person, I also understand the desperation of President Museveni. He looks like he's desperate, totally in charge of some of the government programs. Because if you're the head of state and people are thieving PDM money, why not come out and take action? In 1988, President Museveni came out when there was some rampant killings in Uganda. He came out and said, Banange, I don't want to be in charge of a country where a Ugandan is killed and you are the head of security in a district and you don't know and you cannot explain. I think if that President Museveni met the president of Thursday, they will box each other and kill each other. Because he's now here, he's saying something that is not very clear. So one thing that touched me out of the news that I watched, I still also want to say this, that though I oppose, but where he strikes, I think something that is of concern, sometimes I want to appreciate him, is when he came out to show concern over the accident by the Sinotruck guy. I think I will use this platform to really send a message to people who drive Sinotrucks and tippers and drones. And you guys, you're risking life. So when the president started sending, I know, Bright, you have many snow trucks, and you're already saying no. Let me finish. Let me.
What is there to oppose?
There is no attack here. The attack.
What is there to oppose?
Bright. The attack is not the attack is not there. And I was coming. Wait, hold on.
People have issues with loans. People have issues with their marriages because of government. People have issues with school fees. People have
Sorry.
Yes.
So
things are not in the right. Things are not in the
Okay, we know
you cannot entirely blame the accidents on poor driving school.
You see,
skills.
we know you're a person of interest in the logistics and transport sector.
No,
You see,
we
but
discussed it. We discussed that topic, and we
Okay,
concluded that
thank
the
you.
causes of accidents in Uganda
you see,
are largely psychosocial. People have issues.
Okay. Yes.
But really, I want to say, in everything that he said,
Let's allow Peter and Paka.
let me kind of conclude that in everything that he said, for me, I think it was a bit of a plus for him to show concern for the school.
I think we
for
can
the
take
families,
that. We can really take that.
For the families, and even
Yes.
for the families. I saw he said
no,
5 million.
5 million is very small.
It's
man.
very small, but one. No, he wasn't. No. He said it clearly. He even said that the owners of the Sino truck should compensate the families according to the law. He has. No. Wait. Okay, whatever it is. But for me, for the president to go down there to that little family or that little school, I think for everything he said, that was the one point that stood out.
Okay.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends. Sunday Blues. Sunday Blues. Sunday Blues.
Creative Digital Media.
Audio. And for the TV, we are Cruise TV on YouTube, and all that is kind of Creative Digital Media. And I want to thank every person that has stuck around all the way from 9 where we started up to where we are at. This particular show happens every Saturday from 9 to 11. And don't miss, because what we talk about is a matter that concerns you and I on a daily. And this is a conversation that keeps on and on and on. On Twitter, 912 Cruise FM at Vanyaji. You can be able to drop your feedback. We'll be able to read some of the feedback. And also on 752-912-912-1780-912-910 other studio lines. You can be able to call in and contribute on that topic of discussion this morning. Sifa Safi, Bright Musa, Peter Mpaka, Musa Tukwatanse. Musa.
Yes.
We had the callers. We're almost getting out of here. But it's not unconvention of President Museveni each time he comes out to make his State of the Nation address to simply surprise Ugandans and not be as predictable, because he knew Ugandans badly wanted him to talk about the sagas, and he chose to work in his clandestine way of let me not address this before the press, but handle it my way. Because we know of ministers that have been suspended from cabinet, but the president has not gone ahead to even make any pronouncements to the public. But that person is simply put on Katebe. They will not attend cabinet. They will not. They have no instrument of power. And before we know it, we know the roles that are supposed to be performed by that individual are perhaps assigned by another office within State House. So this is typical General Museveni. And going forward, don't you think that sometimes Ugandans, like you had, need to hear from what the president thinks about a matter? Isn't it the way that it's supposed to be? And maybe going forward, if you met the president and you wanted to advise him on how to communicate better, how about he goes ahead and always addresses? Because during COVID, when we had the numbers escalate and all this that was happening, he would come and brief the nation and would at least expect. How about each time that there was a situation, he comes out and clearly states his position of what government is acting about a particular matter? Musa.
Thank you so much, my brother Banyaji, and to our dear listeners. Personally, the issue of Mabati, the iron sheets, has been an issue, and if you go to media, I have seriously advocated for it, both on Twitter and WhatsApp. But Mr. Banyaji, what I must say is that we need to allow government institutions to work. The president, as the head of state and the fountain of honor, really it is not proper for him, Bright, allow me speak, it is not proper for him to come out and instruct the agencies, security agencies and the anti-corruption unit to start investigating into the matter. Then immediately, not even after a minute a report is given to him, before even he receives any report, he starts giving his position on the matter. Then why is he instructing people to investigate? So I think the president was very right to first keep a deaf ear on the Mabati before the nation. Why? Because he has already instructed the anti-corruption unit, State House anti-corruption unit, the police and all other agencies involved to investigate into the matter. Secondly, Mr. Banyaji, I want to put clarity to our listeners that a country, even if it is your home, you can't run it in a way that your emotions guide you. For example, your wife and children cannot disturb you today and you disown them immediately. That means your family will collapse immediately. So what you do is what exactly President Museveni is doing. A country needs a leader who is patient, tolerant, and who is disciplined. So even if it is a scandal, you cannot. Now they are around 8 ministers in a Mabati scandal. Now you cannot chase away 15 ministers immediately. And
just the whole cabinet in Ghana.
Now, Mr. Bright, allow me speak. When you chase these people, first of all, Mr. Banyaji, accept or not, and our listeners must accept that these people are empowered. And these people are somewhere as far as individual support is concerned. And these people have followers. So immediately you bash them off or you chase them away. You are creating a lot of tension. So President Museveni, in his natural wisdom, can never come out and say, go away, go away, go away. But slowly, I am very sure, Mr. Banyaji, an action will be taken. Yesterday there was a special cabinet meeting. Some highlights were given and discussions, but I may not disclose some of the things I heard of. But I can assure you, there is a cabinet reshuffle coming. But don't get surprised that some of the Mabati thieves appear in the cabinet in the next cabinet. They will not be chased away, all of them, because you can't chase them away and create tension. But what we can do as Mr. Banyagi, let me conclude with the point.
Yes, conclude.
What I can say is, when you look at the kind of exposure these Mabat thieves have received, is that it is now becoming a concern of every Uganda that fighting corruption is everyone's responsibility. Let us not leave it to the president. Let us not leave it to the State House and corruption unit. Let us not leave it to the leaders. Everybody should be concerned, because the exposure we have given on different media platforms has forced even the Right Honorable Speaker to bring them about back, 500 of them, has forced the Matia Kasaja, the finance minister, to before the public to say,
it forced Lugolobi to be roof.
And a roof is Goti house. It has forced the minister finance to speak before the public that please, Mabati, I found them in my compound without my consent. So you can see, if fighting corruption becomes everyone's responsibility, not leaving it to President Museveni, we shall live in a better Uganda.
Thank you. Sifa Saf, your parting shot in a second.
Thank you, Banyaji. I want to first of all thank those who came out, either from opposition or wherever, or even if you're not a politician or whatever, who came out, to condemn the Mabati saga. At least, like my friend is saying, it somehow, made people aware that people are out there and looking at them in these things they are stealing and whatever. But Mr. Peter talked of the issue of the president coming out to show empathy for the children who died. That is what he usually does. But like I said, he sends money, and money is being stolen and diverted and deducted. That's what happens. You saw what happened with the money of the Bijambia victims in Masaka. You send 10 million shillings to every family that lost a loved one, and someone steals 1 million, another one 2. By the time the person receives that money, they have only 2 million and point something. So the thing is, he's ready and willing to work for us, but I don't know where he's going to get the people from. I know you're not going to export people, to import people from other countries to work for Ugandans, but at least what we are saying as Ugandans is, whoever steals should go. We have a lot of competent Ugandans who can work. And finally, Banyaji,
yes,
I had
very
finally, I'd thank the Member of Parliament for Pokoto, but even there was Atkins Katusabov, is it Kasese, and other UPC members. That's what took you there, to represent your people, but not to show your ego. Thank you so much.
All right. Bright Momsa, your parting shot.
The one that heads PDM in the whole country lost an election in Uganda. As a compensation, President Museveni appointed her without any merit, without any history of managing a big project. And, because of politics, President Museveni appointed her to head PDM in the whole country without any competence. Number one. Number two, we know that the Mabat saga in Uganda, did he lose an election or he didn't?
PDM is headed by Professor Ephraim Kamuntu, a senior and a professor in economics.
Okay.
Don't confuse the public.
Because he knows that the one who heads the PDM in Uganda is the secretary is headed by Karisa, the former member of parliament for who? For Uganda. The other one is just a cabinet advisor on PDM. You know that. You don't have information. But even though Kamuntu was appointed after losing an election in Shema. Number one. Number two, Mr. Banyaji, we are saying that the Mabat saga of Uganda is in many forms. You are saying that the minister that took iron sheets should resign. But the one that ate the whole hospital, eating the whole hospital, you eat the stuff in Ntungamo. 8 health centers at the level of health center 4 were eaten. Those that ate those health centers are still serving and they are okay, but you are saying those that have eaten Mabati should disappear. I told you the strength of the wind that took Mabati from Kampala to Bunyoro. That strength, I suspect that it could have taken very many big things to Wachitura. Very many big things to Wachitura. Okay. And I can tell you, President Museveni may not have the moral authority to question those that took Mabati, because he knows that the same wind has always brought many things for him.
But I don't know why Ugandans are very hypocritical.
Because we are
this man has been very honest. On a couple of times he has said be very careful on these people that you suspect to be thieves. We don't want to scare them and they take the money overseas. We want them to keep investing this money around here and rather build arcades.
So isn't it a motivation to people? Is it not a motivation? Because the RGG said, let us employ a lifestyle audit as a strategy to cut down corruption. President Museveni said, go through on that strategy because it will scare away our people. They are going to run away with the money. So President Museveni says, if you steal the money and invest in Uganda, there is no problem. So he's a priest, the chief priest of corruption in Uganda, and I am telling you, if anybody still trusts this government that they can fight corruption, they are telling lies to themselves.
Okay.
Bright Muhumuza, greetings from National Unity Platform, especially Kavure, new headquarters, and the Chaguranyi Center, my president.
That you bought at 7 billion. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
In a second.
I want to really thank our listeners and thank you so much for cruising with us up to this time. My parting shot is the words of Irene Muriagonja when they asked her she should replace the minister of information, minister of information and government spokesperson. But lastly, I want to really commend the effort of Norbert Mao.
Yes.
Norbert Mao has come out with a proposal to reduce the number of MPs and the burden of administration in Uganda.
Thank you.
I really wish him well. Thank you. Have a great weekend and God bless you.
All right. Musat Kwatan, say in a second.
Thank you so much, Mr. Banyaji.
Your parting shot.
My parting shot is that I call upon all Ugandans listening to Cruise FM now to be part and struggle to fight corruption in our families, corruption in our parishes, corruption in our districts and in the country, because we have had a lot of corruption because we have left it to be a responsibility of government, to be a responsibility of the anti-corruption unit. And if all of us can come on board and address and criticize and publish the corrupt officials, I can assure you we will say no more corruption and Uganda will be a peaceful nation in the new years to come. That's why I love our generational leader, General Moses Kainerugaba, who has boldly come out and criticized the corrupt, who has boldly come out and told the Mabat thieves that enough is enough.
Thank you, Musa.
Bring our Mabat.
Thank you. On no, silence. On Westgate's punchline this week, the rains are hard. Those that encroached on wetlands, you now see the floods that are sweeping away the roads and the houses. How about we respect and protect the environment? Because in the future, it will come to haunt us. My name is Wesige Banyaji. Let's meet next Saturday on the big set. We have news at the top of the hour. Keep it locked. We are Western Uganda's biggest radio station. Have a very fantastic weekend. We are out of here.
Creative Digital Media.